Practice for the German Grand Prix got underway under sunny skies, and Ferrari looked to have made another step forward in their development race with Audi and Jaguar. Vettel now finds himself under pressure from his younger teammate following his second win of the season, and the paddock thinks he could be set for a move away from the Scuderia for one last challenge before retiring. Meanwhile, there's equal frustration for Nico Hülkenberg after falling backwards from his starting spot yet again last race, and he's urged Haas they need a massive boost in race pace before the team's home Grand Prix. Alfa Romeo have been showing major signs of improvement with Ferrari's engine upgrades, and yet again look to upset what has been the natural order of the midfield so far this season. And so with rain forecast for Sunday, this is shaping up to be another thrilling German Grand Prix. Let's take a look now at the starting grid for the 2020 German Grand Prix, and it is an all-Ferrari front row with Antonio Giovinazzi once again getting the better of Sebastian Vettel during qualifying and grabs that pole position by just 59 one-thousandths of a second, but Carlos Sainz in the Audi not far off, just 21 thousandths of a second behind Vettel, and he'll be starting from third position alongside the Haas of Nico Hülkenberg. Then comes the McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo in fifth position. He'll be joined by the Jaguar of Stoffel Vandoorne, who once again outqualifies his teammate and puts his Jaguar on the third row of the grid. Then comes the other Haas of Romain Grosjean, doing a little bit better this week, keeping a little bit closer to his teammate, and then the Audi of Sergio Perez completing the fourth row of the grid. Then comes the other Jaguar of aarava, just inside the top 10 and ahead of Kevin Magnussen for the McLaren team, and on the fifth row of the grid. Then comes the two Mercedes drivers, very close between them, just 9 thousandths of a second, with Pascal Wehrlein managing to get the better of Max Verstappen on the sixth row of the grid. Then comes the Red Bull of Pierre Gasly, and just alongside him, it is actually the Alfa Romeo of Leclerc in 14th position, doing well in qualifying, as did his teammate Fuoco, going 15th quickest and ahead of both the Monster Rehab cars and the Alfa Romeos sandwiched in between the Red Bulls as well. Schumacher going 16th quickest, Flores going 17th quickest, Nico Kari only managing to go 18th quickest on the 9th row of the grid. Then comes the Williams cars and the Renaults, as it has been in recent races, with Lando Norris getting the better of Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Camara, and once again it is Esteban Ocon in the Renault bringing up the rear in 22nd and last position.
What's going on, guys? aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 MyDriver career mode, episode number 10 today for Season 6 at the German Grand Prix here at Hockenheim. If you did miss the last episode, uploaded only a couple of days ago on Friday, the Japanese Grand Prix, be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. But a huge thank you to you guys for the support on that one. You guys absolutely killed it and smashed it on the likes for that one, so I can't thank you enough. So again, thank you very much for that, as we look on towards round 10 then here at Hockenheim. Obviously a very famous circuit really in MyDriver terms for Season 4. I don't really need to say why, but if you were watching MyDriver back then, you'll know why. But going into this round, this is what the table looks like there on the bottom right. We're still doing the job, and we're still just about keeping ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne, our teammate, obviously in the second Jaguar car, and hopefully we can do the same today. Obviously, we're a little bit down, both me and Stoffel, in qualifying. Saturday wasn't the best day for us as a team, so hopefully we can both bounce back in this race. But the two Ferrari cars looking very, very strong, as well as the two Audi cars in the straights. May not be on full lap time there for Sergio Perez, but on the straights, they're going to be pretty damn deadly. So let's just see how we can do here around 34 laps around Hockenheim as we go to 5 red lights for round number 10 of this season. 5 red lights are out and we're underway here from P9 on the grid. It's an okay getaway from us. Vandoorne equally the same as we try and go round the outside potentially of Sergio Perez into turn 1. Looks like up ahead, Carlos Sainz is battling the two Ferrari cars for what will be P1 in this Grand Prix as Vandoorne goes side by side with the two Haas cars up ahead. We're kind of just stuck looking at the 3 cars ahead of us, trying to suss out a place to go. We choose the right-hand side of the circuit, round the outside of the two Haas cars. We're on the right-hand side of Romain Grosjean, trying to pick up a toe off Sergio Perez. We're up into 7th place, so it's been a pretty decent, actually, first few turns there, as Perez now tries to overtake Vandoorne in a straight line using the Audi engine to good effect. It's going to work very well around this circuit indeed this afternoon as we nip it now down the inside of Vandoorne. He's been crisscrossed around with Sergio Perez, lost a bit of momentum there, so now can we try and slipstream as we go towards that Mercedes grandstand there on the left-hand side. We're going to dive it down the inside. This will be for P P6. So a very good getaway from us. Looks like up ahead, it looks like it's Carlos Sainz and a sandwich between the two Ferrari cars as we swoop it around the outside of our Belgium teammate Stoffel Vandoorne. We're going to go side by side into the stadium section. Very, very close stuff immediately here on lap 1. It's all getting very, very hot under the collar straight away between us two. We're 1-2 in the championship. You can already feel the tension really between us two in the run down to the end of this season with only 6 rounds to go, including this one, as we're up into P6 now through the final few corners, the last corner there, and now we can try and maybe chase down Sergio Perez as Sebastian Vettel sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix. So I believe it's Vettel from Carlos Sainz, then you've got Antonio Giovinazzi, Daniel Ricciardo with a good start there in 4th place, then Sergio Perez. So Sainz has done well to at least jump one of the Ferrari cars. Vettel, remember, started in P2, so he's done well to jump Antonio off the line, and Antonio himself, really poor getaway there, must have been off pole position to move down to 3rd place. Meanwhile, we're now looking right on the back of Sergio Perez. We move swiftly on towards lap 2, down the back straight. We've got the slipstreams. He's sparking away there on the right hand side. You can see just by his rear tyre, really a lot of sparks. We do a lovely little classic, I guess you could say, trademark switchback move from myself, and we overtake Perez, get a good drive off that corner, and we're up into P5. But there is Sebastian Vettel from Sainz, Antonio Giovinazzi, Daniel Ricciardo in the Papaya McLaren Honda, and then we're chasing after very closely as we go on towards the end of lap 3, on towards lap 4. But you can see Vettel already getting quite a big gap there, so doing well in what is obviously his home Grand Prix. Wants to do well for the home crowd. He's under pressure after Antonio got his 2nd win of the season, so he needs to be getting that gap really realistically to be doing well in this race. But we go down the inside of the Australian in the McLaren, trying to go round the outside. Very tricky to always hold it round the outside here, and we just about hang it round, but he's going to have the run on us on the left hand side. He's got DRS as well off what will be Giovinazzi, so that's helped him out. But can we try and make a move down the inside? It'll be the better line. He's locked up massively though on his right tyre, so that'll definitely help us, and we actually take that pretty easily actually. Thank you very much, Ricciardo. Up into P4. Absolutely brilliant start. 4 laps gone and we're up into P4. Decent from P9, I would say. Very decent. And with the super softs being used here as the first stint for pretty much most of us here at this German Grand Prix, the pit stops will be coming pretty thick and fast as we move on towards the end of lap 5. We're going to come in for a bit of an undercut here. You can see Giovinazzi, Vettel and Sainz all carried on there in P3 up to P1. We're going to come in, we're going to try the undercut strategy, get some clean air hopefully, and maybe hope that vice versa they can get held up in some traffic maybe as they come out. So we're going to strap on a set of soft tyres, so going quite aggressive. I have a feeling that most people may be trying a bit more of a conservative strategy of medium tyres. Here around Hockenheim, I feel like the more aggressive strategy is going to work out for us. And of course, as you would have heard in the practice report, there is some forecast of rain potentially later on in this race. So if I can just basically avoid the medium tyre, that'll be just the best bet, because then I can just avoid using the slowest compound available on the dry set. So we move on to the end of lap 6, on towards lap 7, finally catching Valtteri Bottas here, who's been starting on the same set of super soft tyres since the beginning of the Grand Prix. So going a little bit slowly through turn 1, but that shouldn't hamper us too much as we do go round the outside there, just about squeezing through to overtake Giovinazzi in the Ferrari car. So the undercut has worked there against him, and I think there's also Sainz behind him. So Giovinazzi's jumped Sainz himself in the pit stop phases, and then we've jumped both of them with the undercut we just did. So that's worked out very well for us, although Giovinazzi is going to try and come back at us with DRS. The same for Sainz as well. We go 3 wide there with the Renault car as well. Oh, Bottas, very, very close stuff. I back out of it a little bit. Don't want to get my nose in there. That's far too easy to make some contact there. So we do back out of it, and Bottas actually comes out ahead of all of us, and Giovinazzi's got me. His Sainz goes side by side with the Italian, going to squeeze him out. We may have the jump on him then. He makes some contact with us though. We go off on the grass a little bit, use it to a bit of our advantage on the right hand side, and we just make it work down the inside now in 4th gear on the little dip there on the right hand side. And now we're going to try into the stadium section, try and hang it in the inside. Very, very close stuff there with Antonio. We're in P15 at the moment, so we've effectively lost the 2 positions we actually gained there with the undercut, unfortunately there. Really, that was really the Renault's fault. The Renault just came at the worst time for us on the circuit. But now can we try and maybe just keep it through the final corner, keep it very close, and just get DRS then on towards the next lap and try and re-overtake Giovinazzi hopefully, and then maybe get on towards Carlos Sainz. So we go into turn 1, you can see behind us, look at that, Vandoorne overtakes the other Renault car of Esteban Ocon there very easily, and so he's up into P12, we're up into P11 as some people have made their pit stop stops now. We do have DRS available, so we will go through and open that rear flap on the back straight. Let's see if we'll have the speed on the Ferrari car. Obviously, Ferrari did bring some upgrades for this weekend, so let's see how they shape up against our bog standard Jaguar engine. Here we go, going to get in the toe. It's going to be a late duck to the inside. Here we go, up for P10, locking up on the right hand side. We're going to squeeze Antonio out as much as we can, but leaving the room still, because he's still very much there on the outside, and he does go round. He's got the traction on us. Actually, he's completely out traction dust, so now we're going to have to try and stick it down the inside. It's going to be very, very tight stuff. We lock up on the left tire. We just about get given enough room by Antonio. We're going to have to swing it around the outside. Very tricky to hold it around the outside there. The inside line is definitely the more advantageous one as we now swing through into the stadium section. Lovely panning shot. Hold it around the outside. Just keep the throttle in as much as we dare, and then as we go into the main heart of the stadium section, we're going to eventually squeeze Antonio out and get up into P10 there. So an absolute ding-dong battle between me and GIOVINAZZI. Obviously, we've had many in the past, but that'll be an absolutely great one once again here at Hockenheim on towards lap 9 now. So it's only lap 9. We've had so much action already. Very, very action-packed so far. But meanwhile, up ahead for Antonio's teammate, Sebastian Vettel, I'm pretty sure he's in the world of his own at the moment. I think he must be relaxing and loving life at the moment, because I think him and now Carlos Sainz pretty much have a lot of clean air ahead of them. As we can see just up the distance, I think that was Carlos Sainz going through and trying to overtake one of the cars that's yet to make a pit stop in this Grand Prix, or actually maybe Ricciardo, actually my mistake. That's actually Ricciardo, so I actually missed where Ricciardo was and all that. So clearly Ricciardo also had an undercut on Sainz and Antonio and is now being re-caught, and I think he just got re-overtaken there up ahead of us by Carlos Sainz. So he's the next car up ahead for us, I think. And then behind us, meanwhile, we overtook Antonio then, and now it's time for Vandoorne to do the same, hopefully, to the Italian in the Ferrari cars. He has DRS wide open. To be fair to Antonio, he does have DRS as well, but the Jaguar engine working well for Vandoorne there, probably up into rich mix as well, I would imagine, and he makes the move pretty damn easily into the hairpin corner. You can see behind them is Sergio Perez, also lurking around. Obviously, Perez not been performing too amazingly so far this season. Looks like he's been really struggling with the 2020 Audi compared to what he did in the 2019 Audi, but he'll for sure be able to use that speed down the back straight. The Audi engines are really working overtime at this Grand Prix down the back straight. But now we move on to lap 11 now. You can see the skies are getting very overcast here. So we did mention the rain. It could be coming pretty damn soon, actually, by the looks of it. But we're closing up to Daniel Ricciardo, who finds himself in a train behind Sainz, and it's Nico Carey there who dives into the pits. Looks like Carey's been holding them up there. So now that will allow us to try and overtake Daniel Ricciardo as we go on towards lap 12. Can we try and stick it down the inside into turn 1? Going to be very close. We have to give him the room, and he does keep that P3 at the moment. We're up into P4 as the final people have made their pit stops, but now Vandoorne is sticking it down or inside. Little dive bomb there from Vandoorne. I give him the room, to be fair to him, because he is my teammate, so a bit of respect between teammates, and so I do leave him the room. He's on the medium tyres, so obviously we're going to hamper his race a little bit if we can stay ahead of him at this stage. And we've got GIOVINAZZI as well on the right hand side. It's 3 wide now as we go down the back straight. All of us have DRS wide open from each other, really. Obviously I got mine off Daniel Ricciardo, and we just managed to keep ahead of Vandoorne and GIOVINAZZI for now through the hairpin corner. But frustrating there as I tried my best to maybe get Ricciardo, but it was through turn 1 here in Hockenheim, you're just never going to make it too wide there. So it was either going to be me or him. I just gave him the room there. But you can see the top 6 all within one camera shot there for a split second, so it's very, very close here at Hockenheim. Not much separates the top 6 of the 2 Ferrari cars, 1 Audi, 2 Jaguars and 1 McLaren. Great to see such variety here in 2020 as we now close up to Daniel Ricciardo on the next lap, trying to re-overtake him if we can in the same exact place we made a move on him earlier, actually. So a bit of deja vu as we swing right around the outside. We've got the move done, but he will have DRS crucially as we now come through. You can see he'll move to the right hand side of the circuit now. Do I try maybe stick it back down his inside? He won't be expecting it as he sparks away. We are going to go for it. So he had DRS wide open, but we've done it under braking down the inside, try and squeeze him out as best we can, and that may also help out Vandoorne, although Ricciardo does get the elbows out on the exit of the corner and will actually put up a big fight for P3, and he just about keeps it ahead. We're going to have to once again switch to the inside, lock up a little bit. We've gone a little bit deep and wide into the corner, maybe force Ricciardo's hand to give me the room, and that does actually work out for us. So we're up into P3 now. Great stuff, and maybe now we can use the clean air ahead of us to try and catch up to Carlos Sainz. And you can see immediately it looks like Ricciardo's now struggling straight away as soon as I've overtaken him to keep up with me, and now he's falling to the clutches of Stoffel Vandoorne and Antonio Giovinazzi there. But while this is going on, we can't forget also it's overcast at the moment, so the rain looks to be coming down at some point soon in this Grand Prix, so that will alter, turn everything on its head. But meanwhile, looks like there's going to be a bit of a scrap behind us between Vandoorne, Ricciardo and Giovinazzi as we move later on into the Grand Prix. You can see we're going through there, getting away from Ricciardo, and still Ricciardo struggling to get away from Vandoorne and keep up with us. And so Vandoorne will have DRS, alternatively also Giovinazzi will have DRS on Vandoorne. So here Vandoorne goes. Will Giovinazzi also try to make it a double overtake pass on Ricciardo here? He goes down the inside. Vandoorne's already done the move. Ricciardo tries his best to hang it around the outside of the Belgian, but now he's going to have to try and just defend from Giovinazzi. He does so successfully, but he has to slot back in behind Vandoorne. So good stuff for us as a team. Jaguar here, we're now running P3 and P4 from what was quite a lower grid position on the starting grid. So very decent pace so far in this Grand Prix on heavier fuel. Meanwhile, up ahead it is still Sebastian Vettel leading the way from Carlos Sainz there in P1 and then P2. And so as we move later on into the Grand Prix, the rain is now starting to actually come down. You can see a few spits of rain on the chassis, and it does send me wide into a lockup on the right hand side here as we go into sector 1 on lap 16. Vandoorne sends it down the inside, so he's kind of capitalised on the mistake I've just made there as it gets very slippery on the track surface, so we have to try and come back at him. DRS is still not actually disabled yet, so that means the FI don't think it's still wet enough to disable the DRS, so we're still perfectly fine to race. And we go 3 wide there, neck and neck with the McLaren of Ricciardo and Vandoorne. Ricciardo cuts across us so violently. I don't know what on earth Ricciardo's doing there. It's just completely tries to squeeze us off the circuit with Giovinazzi, and that means we lose 2 positions there, not only to Vandoorne but Giovinazzi. And now Ricciardo gets a bit of karma there as Charles Leclerc now comes out of nowhere to overtake him. So brilliant little stuff there for Charles Leclerc, doing fantastic in the Alfa Romeo to be up there in what would be at least minimum P7. But we're now coming in for our pit stop now onto the end of lap 16 for the intermediate tyres, the green wall tyres. All of us coming into the pits. We are going to have to unfortunately double stack with Vandoorne because there's just no way I could have avoided him. In hindsight, I could have come in the lap earlier, but it wasn't really wet enough really last lap, and obviously now it's too wet to stay out on the dry tyres. So double stack there for me and Vandoorne, so I'm going to lose that position that I did technically keep over Ricciardo, unfortunately. So you can see as we come out, we are behind the orange car. We are ahead of one of the Mercedes cars there. I think that's Max Verstappen, who's gained quite a bit in this Grand Prix. Not only has he jumped Charles Leclerc there in the pit stop phases, but he's also just gained a lot of time in general, because I don't believe he was anywhere really near our top flight fight on the dry conditions in the first 2 stints there. So he's done really well to capitalise on the conditions. But now we're in P7, trying to chase down P6 Ricciardo here as we move on to lap 17. We'll try and get him back immediately with Rich Mix. Gasly up ahead. He's on the soft tyres on the left-hand side, so we dive down the inside of him. He's going to be very, very slow. Obviously, he's kind of, I don't know, I would say risk it, but he's kind of just been a bit stupid there. Kind of stayed out for one more lap than he needs to, and it's way too wet now for those dry tyres, so we get past him with ease. And now we're in P5, chasing after Charles Leclerc. So my bad, actually. Charles Leclerc actually jumped me and Verstappen and Ricciardo. So Charles is doing amazingly in the Alfa Romeo. Obviously, the Alfa Romeo has got some upgrades in the last 2 races with the Ferrari engine, but still, that's bloody fantastic for him to be up in P4 at the moment. And we're chasing him down in P5, but we've got yellow flags up here. There's a car going slow. Oh, God, I think it's Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi's got an issue there. He's going very slowly, and it's all too familiar, like Daniel Ricciardo from the Japanese Grand Prix. Has he got a puncture? I think it is, as there's no damage to his front wing I can't see. So Antonio Giovinazzi, I think, has major problems in this Grand Prix. I don't know if he's out of the Grand Prix yet, but he's definitely got some major issues. Let's look at a replay now and check out what's happened. So if we look and listen closely, you can just hear there the difference in engine tone when you get the puncture. You can just tell he's got the puncture. Now as we look on this panning shot, you can see it's the left rear tyre again. I want to say again because if I remember correctly, I believe last time out of Japan, Ricciardo also had a left rear puncture. So very odd. I think maybe Pirelli needs to answer some questions perhaps, because it's the same kind of area of the puncture twice in a row now in 2 races. Very unfortunate for the Italian, who obviously won his 2nd race of the season, the only double race win. Oh my God. Wow, okay, he's had a puncture, and to add worse to misery, he's been punted off now twice by Magnussen and a Red Bull car of either Gasly or Carey, and Giovinazzi's out of this race. Way to kick a man when he's down already. Wow. So Giovinazzi out of this race. that is a severe dent to his championship fight. You know, it looked like he was having a late surge of that championship fight with the second win of the season, the only double race winner in this season. But now he's out of this Grand Prix. He's going to lose at least a net 25 points to, well, at the moment it'd be his teammate in first place, or it may be Sainz, or it may be Vandoorne. It could even be us. I still think we could maybe even come back through to win this. I don't know. It's still going to be quite close because we've now got a safety car, so that will mean obviously all of us bunch up. So I still think we're in it. We're in it. Well, I think we still have a chance. But at the moment, it's under the safety car. It's Vettel, Vandoorne, Charles Leclerc in third place. Absolutely great for him. We're in fourth place, obviously. Then behind us, it looks like it is the Monster Rehab car, or actually no, the Monster Mercedes car firstly of Max Verstappen, then the Monster Rehab car of Mick Schumacher. Then you got the Haas car of Nico Hulkenberg doing okay there in the Haas car, I guess you could say. Then you got Carlos Sainz in the Audi car, who obviously I think made an extra pit stop. I think that's how he's gone down the order actually. We kind of missed that, but I believe Sainz pit on for another set of dry tyres before the rain came down. So very, very bad pit strategy from Audi there, because Sainz was initially in P2, now he's down in P8. So very, very bad stuff for them. As we go green now, we're racing again as the safety car is in. And so now, unfortunately for him, we'll have to try and spoil Charles Leclerc's party and try and get up into P3 if we can, which will make it a fantastic double podium at the moment, if we can get it there for Vandoorne in second place at the moment as he chases down Sebastian Vettel in first place. We're going to have to alter, maybe check if Verstappen may be able to get us at some point. He's done very well to get up into P5 in that struggling Mercedes car, so you never know. But as we move on to our POV, trying to close up on the youngster in the Alfa Romeo car, can we move to the right hand side of the circuit to go down the inside? We've got Rich Mix there, so we're going to use all the power we can from the engine down the inside. Obviously no DRS, of course, under the rain conditions, but pure power there. And we've beaten him in a straight line down the inside, under braking as well, and we're up into P3, so really great at the moment. P3 and P2 there for the Jaguar Racing team for now. And you can see there in the distance, just on the left hand side as they go off the screen, Vandoorne very, very close to Vettel's gearbox there. So Vandoorne may be sizing himself up to try and get P1, and we'll try best to also do that the same and try and close up to them if we can. But we'll have to see how long the rain goes on for. But at the moment, it looks like I have some pretty decent pace in the wet as we move later on to the Grand Prix. And looking further back behind us is Mick Schumacher in the pink Monster Rehab car, trying to look at the more senior team, Monster Mercedes car of Max Verstappen. He goes down the inside of him there, and he may even shoot down the inside of Charles Leclerc. Yes, he has. Wow, tries a double overtake there. That is crazy stuff there. And Charles comes back at him though, gets the shoulders out, so he's not going to have it. So Mick's overtaking Verstappen though, so he's got that one place. Wasn't able to get the second place as Leclerc defends well for him. But Mick doing really well to once again upset the kind of bigger team there in the Monster Mercedes crew. So now as we move on to lap 24, we've got 10 laps to go now in this Grand Prix. We're on to our POV. You can see in the bottom right, I did set it for the soft tyres as DRS is now enabled. It is time to come in for the dries, but Vandoorne has come in, so I stay out one more lap because I don't want to get double stacked, because you can see on the mini-map we've got a whole load of cars so close together. If I had to double stack, I would have been penalised so much there. So we come in one lap later. We're in P1 at the moment. To be fair, that one lap wasn't too bad. Lap 25 wasn't too bad on the inters. It was still wet enough where the tyres were performing okay. Obviously, it didn't feel ideal, but it could have been a lot worse. So let's just see where we come out. Some people did follow me suit in that manner. I think Perez stayed out with me as well. So we strap on the set of soft tyres, the yellow wall tyres, so those will easily go to the end of the Grand Prix now. So as we come out of the pit lane now, where are we going to be? Looks like we have some clean air, a lot of clean air actually. Yeah, we're in a world of our own at the moment. So I think that's worked out very well for us. So I believe at the moment it is Sebastian Vettel from Stoffel Vandoorne. We're out here in P3 at the moment in so much clean air. And behind us you can just see a little glimpse of it. A whole gaggle of cars there led by Mick Schumacher. We did mention earlier Vandoorne and Vettel were pretty damn close. And as we move on, it actually looks like they're closer than I thought, because Vandoorne at the moment is actually leading the German Grand Prix as we move a lap later or two. And at the moment, yeah, he's ahead of Sebastian Vettel. So he's managed to jump him in the pit stop phases, that was. But now Vettel will come back at him with DRS as the sun comes out here at Hockenheim. Vettel up into first place now. Vandoorne tries his best actually. You can see there, tried to go around the outside to maybe squirt the throttle to go around and get the traction. Didn't quite work out there. So Vettel at the moment in first place, but we move literally only 2 laps later now. Vandoorne psychs himself up for another re-overtake pass. So these two hammer and tong at the moment, out in the lead. They're about 16 seconds ahead of me here at the moment, so I'm pretty much in no man's land, just kind of doing my own race in P3. Unfortunately for me, I kind of lost too much time to these two in the pit stop phases. So Vandoorne will now come back with DRS wide open. A similar move like Vettel just made to him 2 laps previously, as the sun has well and truly come out here. It's afternoon time, the sun is coming down, and Vandoorne down the inside to re-overtake to Vettel, and he's back up into first place of the German Grand Prix. Meanwhile, you can see that is Carlos Sainz in 4th place. He's trying to chase me down in P3, so that's the nearest car to me. But you can see up ahead, I'm pretty much just doing my own race, locking up a little bit there, going a little bit wide, but I've only got a few laps left in this Grand Prix. So it's Sainz, behind me it's Sainz, then you got Nico Hulkenberg, then it's, I believe this is Kevin Magnussen in the McLaren car, the lead McLaren car in this race, surprisingly. Then you got Mick Schumacher, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Sophia Flores, leading a bit of a train there, followed by Nico Carey, and then Daniel Ricciardo, who's had a very poor Grand Prix after the intermediate conditions. But now we move on. This is the last lap of the Grand Prix, would you believe it? And Sebastian Vettel is going to try and psych himself up for one last go and one last attempt to grab the lead at his home Grand Prix. And remember, he was under so much pressure before this race. His teammate, the younger teammate, has won twice now in this season. Vettel yet to get a win this season, and at his home Grand Prix, he goes through on the right hand side to take the lead of the German Grand Prix. And now, can he pull this through? Vandoorne tries to keep the pressure on him the entire rest of the lap. As they go into the stadium section, though, Vettel looks like he's comfortable and looks like he'll be getting his first win of the season. It'll be the 3rd win for Ferrari overall, with Giovinazzi's 2 wins previously, the last one being at the Japanese Grand Prix last time out. So it's 2 wins in a row there for Scuderia Ferrari, and it's a win for Sebastian Vettel there. He'll be very satisfied with that. It's been a long time coming there for Seb. That car has really deserved to be on the top of the podium many, many times before. They've gotten very unlucky previously, and so he's finally done it there ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne, and P3 will hopefully be us. We'll have to see if we can come through, actually. But meanwhile, we're looking at this battle further down the grid. We've got Nico Carey trying to overtake Sophia Flores, so the 2 rookies in Formula 1 going ding-dong battling once again, as we've seen so many times so far this season. But Sophia's having none of it, and she comes back down the inside of Nico and re-overtakes him there to keep what will be, I think, just the tail end of the points, actually, there. So that'll be a really good position for her to just continue the point scoring paying positions. But now, as we move back to our POV, to confirm to you guys, yes, we are going to be in P3. It looks like we'll just about hang ahead of Carlos Sainz, who is in P4. He's been closing us down all race, but we're going to come through. It's going to be a double podium for Jaguar. We're going to lose a bit of points to Stoffel Vandoorne in the championship, but overall we're still going to be in the lead. So that's a great job for us. But there is Sebastian Vettel celebrating his win. You know, it's been a bit of a frustrating season for him. I mean, he's had the car. The car's been there, but he's gone so unlucky. The team's gone so unlucky. So I bet the team will be very happy to also get 2 wins in a row now on the trot there from Japan to now here at Germany. So fantastic result there for Vettel and Ferrari. Obviously mixed results because Giovinazzi's puncher, but overall I think they can be pretty satisfied with that. I'm sure my boss and the team are very happy with our P2 and P3. We're going to extend the constructors once again, so all round really decent job and a great race for us. So guys, if you did enjoy the episode, smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If we could try and aim for, again, 2,000 likes, guys, that would be absolutely insane. You guys went absolutely ham for Japan. If we can try and match that, that'll be insane. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Once again, if you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'm MyDriver. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.
So pretty good recovery drive for you there, Aarav, after what was a difficult Saturday, but the championship appears to be getting closer and closer as the races go on. What's your takeaway from this German Grand Prix?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, from where we were yesterday, really good recovery. I mean, the car felt a lot better during the race than it did on Saturday, and obviously our position kind of speaks volumes for that. We're P9, we ended up P3, and the same for Stoffel was... what was it, P6 up to P2. Yeah, I think very solid for us, and good to see we resolved some things overnight looking at the data. Going to the next race, hopefully we can just be there straight away on Saturday. But yeah, as you said, the championship is getting a little bit closer. It's generally swung a little bit. You know, we extended the lead by 3 points last race. We've lost 3 points basically this race, so it's a bit of like a cat and mouse game. So I'm not too worried. It's the natural ebb and flow of the season, really. So, you know, as you said, as the races go on, that just means there's less and less races for people to score more points than me. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Now, I know this may be a sensitive subject for you, but with 10 rounds gone and still no win for you this season, are you a little bit worried about your chances for the rest of the season?
No, not really. I never worry about that too much. Yeah, I mean, I'm never too fussed about that too much. It's not something I put pressure on myself on to get the win as early as I can in the season. I mean, last 2 seasons, I think we left it pretty late. Things, different seasons are different kind of stories. I mean, I look back at 2017 when the last time I won the championship with Mercedes, we got 2 early wins in that season, and then we never had a win for the rest of the season. Whereas now, last 2 seasons, we've left it a little bit later. I mean, which one would you rather have? Would you have a late win or an early win? I don't know. It's kind of up to preference, really. But I never take too much kind of solace or any kind of comments to heart in the paddock about any of that. At this stage of the season, for the last 2 seasons with Red Bull and then with these guys last year, I was in 3rd place in the championship. This time round, I'm in 1st. So I think this season so far has been a much more successful season than the last 2, even though it may not seem like it. So really, it's just about how you look at it, really. Yeah, just take every race as it goes, really. I don't really think about, the kind of higher picture of just getting a win under my belt. As long as we're still in 1st in the standings, that's all that really matters, really, to me.
And finally, from me, there's been some talks about next year's regulations. Care to comment on those proposed plans?
Yeah, they sound interesting. I think the cars we drive right now for the last, 6 years pretty much since I entered the sport have been quite similar in terms of the way they are. Not much has changed too drastically aerodynamics-wise. I mean, there was a change from 2017 to 2018, but now for the last 3 years been pretty damn stable. So yeah, it's nice to hear that they're going very, very aggressive for the aero for 2021. And as for the engine, well, don't really know. I haven't really talked to the guys here, the Jaguar guys. Obviously, they had a tough enough time making the first engine. This is their first entry, so I'm assuming that they'll be a bit pressing to just keep the V8 hybrids. I think the V8 hybrids have worked very well. They sound good. I think there's been a lot of competition with the V8 hybrids, so who knows, there may be even more competition if we were to go to V10s, or I don't know, maybe there's, I don't know, go back to V6, or I don't really, it doesn't really bug me, to be honest. As long as the car's good to drive and I'm in a good car, then that's all I really care about too much. But yeah, no, change is always good, and I think next year should be quite a dramatic one, yeah.
All right, thanks for your time.
All right, cheers, thanks.